Good day. This is Cast Iron ASMR. Could have this neat. I've been organizing my comic books. Years ago, I thought, you know what, I got all these comic books. I should get some comic book boxes. I had a couple boxes. And I started organizing them one summer. I actually went to a friend's house because I didn't have a lot of floor space. I said, I was looking after his dog. Like, mind if I bring all my comics over? And, well, I don't think I asked permission. I was just staying there. Anyway, I was doing it for like probably a couple hours, and it was a nice day, and I thought, go outside. I just stuffed them all into the boxes, and that's how they were left for years and years. See, we got an E here, and the R. What do you call this? A dash? A comma? That's not a comma. It's a dash. This is the beginning of a letter. It's an M. And so I was continuing on my today. Thought, you know what? Let's dig into those boxes. I was looking through all the boxes to get my Spider-Mans. And here, you want me to show you all my Todd McFarlane Spider-Mans. The artist, he was my favorite at the time. I always called him Todd McFarlane, like Lynn. You can read it. Signature. It's Lane. McFarlane. Is it the whole world saying it wrong or just me? Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane? Alright. They're all in bags and boards. They're being protected. So it's the entire Todd McFarlane run minus 2 issues that I don't have. This is my first one, 299, but he started on issue 298. Now, if you're wondering, do I have the next issue, issue number 300? I don't. I was searching for it when I started collecting Spider-Man comics, The Amazing Spider-Man. I thought it was this amazing artist. Well, I learned pretty quickly that it was Todd McFarlane. So I got issue number 301. I did see issue 300 once for sale at a flea market, and they wanted $10 for it. And I even had $10, but I had only just begun collecting comics. I thought that was an awful lot to spend on a comic book. So I didn't get it. I got 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books instead. The first one's by Archie Publishing. Look at this right after. His iconic 300 cover. Wait, is that the exact same? Exact same pose? I think so. If it's broke, don't fix it. The top left corner, I don't know what they call this box. The Marvel. Now he's got the old red and blue. So now I have the rest of them, the rest of the line. This is issue 302. These prices and these bags and boards, this isn't where I got this one. I must have at one point switched the bags and boards because this says $9 from Strange Adventures. Comic shops in the Maritimes. Chaos in Kansas. No one will stop me from having my revenge. No one. This was a fun time for me collecting comic books. This was really exciting stuff. I haven't gone through these in a long time. These ones here, let's see, this one. This one's later. A bit later, maybe. Issue 303. Now this next set here, so 302 to 303. Gonna take a look inside. I gotta see what the year is. I know, I'm just certainly gonna look at the covers. Look at that cover. There's the Sandman and the Silver Sable. I'm gonna guess what is this, like 88, 89? I'm gonna say 89. 88. But this was a back issue when I first started collecting The Amazing Spider-Man. Let's jump ahead a little bit. I'll show you the very first Amazing Spider-Man I bought. This was on the newsstands, in comic stores. This was my first issue here. Look, 320. 17 issues later. So I was scrambling to buy as many. I learned, I just wanted to collect a Spider-Man comic. The first one I got was Spectacular Spider-Man and a Marvel Tales at the same time. And then I thought, that's some good stuff. So I went to there was a comic book store, and that's where I got this. I would typically get my comics from this hobby store on the far side of town. There was a comic store. So this is probably 89. And then in the summer, it would go on sale twice a month. It was very exciting. Enter the man called Paladin. Have gun. Will kill. And look, there's Felix the cat. You could always look for Felix the cat in Todd McFarlane's art. So I got this 320, and I thought, man, I gotta scramble to get these back issues. And I was lucky enough. Me and my friend went to the city to a comic book convention. Back when comic book conventions were all about buying comic books. And I don't know, maybe I had $30. I just went from table to table. There were so many vendors selling comic books. It was in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And there was no cosplay back then. I think there was like 2 guests maybe. Jim Starlin. I didn't know his work, but when you entered, you got a little, not even a flyer, like, well, maybe it was a flyer. Maybe it was 8.5 by 11, showing the work. And I didn't care to get anything signed, even if it had been Todd McFarlane. Would I wait? Pay to get a signature? I don't know. So I went from table to table. I just said, like, oh, can we help you? Are you looking for something? Or maybe I would just go up. I go, you got any McFarlane Spider-Man? And then my buddy, he was collecting the Incredible Hulk. So he would say, yeah, and you got any McFarlane Hulk? And some of them had it, and they were outrageously priced. But then I found this one vendor. And look, 303, 304, 305, like these wonderful covers. There's the Amazing Spider-Man on the waterfront against Sandman. He doesn't want to get mixed up in the water. And then here, after the Fox, he's an old man, like a burglar, a cat burglar. And Spider-Man can never, when he catches him, he can never bring himself to take him into the police. There's some shorts on there. These are the same bags and boards that I got. I remember $3. $3 and $3. California Schemin'. I just thought, so amazing. I remember seeing a vendor, for the first time they had all the Amazing Spider-Man up behind on the wall, and I was seeing covers I'd never seen before. Like these ones. And then I got another one. Got all these in a row. Oh, look, this one was only $2.50 at the time. And that would be in Canadian currency. So I didn't know at the time that this was an homage. I wouldn't even know what that word meant. I might have thought it, even if you said homage, I'd be like, oh, maybe that's when you rip someone off. So here's the Amazing Spider-Man and Todd McFarlane ripping off the cover of the very first superhero comic form, Superman from Action Comics #1. He's missing the guy that's running right here. Humbug back. This was neat. He was going on a road trip. I remember these. He had published a book of all his photos of Spider-Man. He was going on tour. He might have even, when he was in California here, maybe he went on The Tonight Show. And then, where's this? Humbug's back. I'm going to guess it's in Cincinnati. And he has to fight the Humbug. It's sort of like a makeshift villain. So I got that for $2.50. I was very happy. And my friend, he did find quite a few Incredible Hulk done by artist Todd McFarlane. And it was neat to see, especially like his run on that, his first ones. Maybe because, well, even if it's inking it, but there was a very vast improvement as the progression went. When I saw this, I thought, what is this amazing cover? From Chicago comes the Chameleon. Only $2.50. That's pretty good because I was paying, it was $1.25 the Canadian price in Canada. And at the time, $89. There was no tax on it. Later, they decided to come up with a goods and services tax, and comics are goods, and they would tax it. So that was a good one. This is where I think I learned, like they got the little boxes, reading something. Here's the Chameleon. There'll be a little asterisk. And then you look down to the box at the bottom. There'll be a little note from the editor. It's like, oh, there's the Chameleon. I remember tangling with you at the beginning of my career. And then it says, and you look down, see Amazing Spider-Man, #1. Like anybody could afford that at the time. So let's move these down. Look, I really filled it up. All these handwritten things, these were all the ones I got. So I must have had quite a bit. That's 6, 9, more. Oh, that was it. These are all the ones I got at the convention. This one here. Who kidnapped Mary Jane? He's back in New York. When did he get back? He must have got back here. It was kind of strange, because there was 3 ongoing titles. The Amazing Spider-Man, The Spectacular Spider-Man, and The Web of Spider-Man. There was also Marvel Tales, but those were old ones. And then Marvel Team Up. So what's that, 4? This was the main title. And you could just read Amazing Spider-Man and not miss anything. Maybe every once in a while you'd be like, oh, I'm a little bit tired from fighting the Electro yesterday. And you're like, what? I don't remember that. I'm going to see Web of Spider-Man or something. So maybe they got back and the other one, who knows. So these are the summertime. Wait, that's not summertime. Early November. Oh, look, they're doing it on sale twice a month in November. Well, it's not really November. August, September, October, November. Maybe it's September. The cover dates aren't the real dates. They're tricky that way. They're on sale twice a month in the summer. Oh, I like this one. And I just thought, what a fantastic artist. And what a fun new comic. This new hobby of mine I had, reading these comics. To save his wife, Spider-Man must get through sticks and stone. And at this time, Spider-Man sort of had his life together there. He's got married, had a successful book. I think he was working at university too. Oh wait, here it says he's going back to college. I think I paid $175 for this one. It's the same. I kept all these in their original bags and boards, I think. This one here wasn't as good. Shrike Force. Like, who's this guy? It's like a Batman wannabe vigilante. I don't know. Shrike Force. Man, I would look at these web lines closely. They're so neat, and I would draw them. It's two web lines going up, and then these ones go around, and see, now he's starting to draw a little black and white panel, like the UPC thingy. For a while, like you do a little doodle, but it was just the number. Oh, well, he'd stick Spidey's face in there a couple times. From the very beginning, it was just like that. Then he started drawing a little added black and white panel. I like that. See the art without the color. So that's 310. Here's a cool cover, Mysterio. That was really cool. The new movies there when Mysterio, he was in one. There, that new Tom Holland, is that his name? I really like those Spider-Man movies. It's different. The Return of the Man called Mysterio. Oh, this was neat. So you could read The Amazing Spider-Man. That was basically what I was getting. Spider-Man. Without getting sucked into it was all about the X-Men in these days. And comics weren't all about the huge event yet. But they would have events that would happen and cross over in the books. Mostly like the X-Men, they're all related. The Spider-Man even related to other Spider-Mans. But here's something to do with the X-Men. It's called Inferno. And all I know is that like all hell was breaking loose and demons were coming up to the surface. Like it was literally hell breaking loose. But everybody in New York was just like, what's going on? Spider-Man's like, what's going on here? And maybe even they thought, like maybe it's Mysterio doing these, like a banister would turn into a snake and stuff like that. I think I heard after the signature, there's a little 4 there. I think that's how many spiders are hidden. I can see 3 right there. I didn't know that before, but I did know there were spiders always like hidden. Well, I just found 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I find another one, then I disprove that theory. I don't think I will. So, whoa, $4.75. That one cost me. This one must be popular. Then afterwards, that's when like Wizard magazine was coming out. I was buying the Wizard magazine from time to time. And these comics, they were toting this run They're like, oh my goodness, like issue 311 is worth. They were getting to be close to $20, they said. Then suddenly this fun hobby that I just wanted to read comic books. Oh, there's the fire. Here I thought I was making a sound investment. I like this one when this came out, Inferno. Oh, it brought the Green Goblin's son, Harry Osborn, Green Goblin 2, and all the Inferno chaos brought his craziness to the forefront, and he again became Green Goblin. The Hobgoblin. No, not an illusion. It finally happens. Yeah, this Hobgoblin is actually a demon. We see a spider there. He doesn't have the number there. Maybe there's only one. Everybody always was toting their Green Goblin is the main anti-spider, like the arch-villain, but he's not my favorite by far. I like Mysterio better. Look at this, they're all like purple and green, green. Is he wearing a purple coat? No, he's wearing the doctor's lab coat, because it's Dr. Kurt Connors, the lizard on campus, lurks the lizard. Look at that, I paid $4.50. Yeah, I thought that was a cool cover. I like the lizard in this one because it's Inferno. See, anyone with like crazy demon, it wasn't affecting Mysterio. That was more like a red herring, is that what they call it? Blue herring. They're like, oh, maybe it's Mysterio making all these illusions. Well, he was, but the demon parts were real. So this was my first story with the lizard. And he was compelled to be the lizard. Get crazy because of the Inferno storyline. And he didn't talk. He was like mindless, like the Hulk. I don't even think he said lizard smash. But the funny part of the lizard, I love the lizard's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. But he usually, like, he's smart and he wants to rule the world with his reptilian kin. And he's kind of funny. My very oldest Amazing Spider-Man comic, I was just going through these, is with the lizard. Somebody else too, I think it's issue 77 in rough shape that I got one time. So the lizard is a good guy. He's got a son and a wife, a girlfriend there. He's, he knows them. So that makes it hard too. Basically, if you get to know Peter Parker, chances are you might become a supervillain. And that's not good. Here's a Christmas one. Issue 314. This is a good one to read at the holidays. This is when they get kicked out of their apartment. It's kind of sad that Santa Claus will come through. 314, so 315. Oh, wait. What? Placed in orders? We had Venom already? Oh, because Venom was in issue 300 that I don't have. They got it reprinted. But here we have Hydro Man. Hydro Man wins at last. Yeah, right. Featuring the long-awaited return of Venom. It's a cool cover. And, yeah, I was saying everything was all about the X-Men, the mutants. So much so that they called the Amazing Spider-Man the non-mutant superhero. And I just noticed this when I was looking through, but the non-mutant part, like, it sounds so dumb, I thought. But they even trademarked it, so. Other competition superheroes couldn't be non-mutants. Here we got this one. Everybody likes the Venom. I thought this was good when this came out. It was raising the stakes. When it came out, I had to go back to get it. These are one of the first ones I got, though. I just took all that babysitting money. I don't know. I thought these two were cool. This cover here, 317. I thought, wow. I remember my collection when I only had a few, and I would look at it, and I thought, these are so neat. Look at that thing up there. It's like, hey. The thing looked really weird at this time. It was like, I think he was mutating. He wasn't a non-mutant. Well, I don't know. Maybe because he's not a mutant. They were hit by cosmic rays. It's different. It's very different. Okay, so Venom's back. I remember this one. Yeah, maybe before I got those. Because that 320, issue 320 is where I started. So this is 318. I probably got these maybe even the day I got 320. And I thought, oh, I know that guy. Because he was at the beginning of the credits for the Spider-Man cartoon. This 1960s Spider-Man. Because at this time, that was the only cartoon. They did have Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Well, and they also had Spider-Man. So, the 60s one wasn't the only cartoon by any stretch of the imagination. I mostly, well, I knew the 60s one. We always thought, man, what is he's always swinging the skyline, but there's no buildings around him. When you see him, like, what's he attached his webs to? But the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, when he was with Iceman and Firestar, that was my favorite. And those weren't like on reruns or anything. I just remembered those. And then I thought, you know what? Like, I kind of want to... I saw the Batman movie, Tim Burton one. There were a bunch of people who thought, hey, maybe comics would be pretty cool. Maybe I should look into those. So I just picked Spider-Man. Yeah, and I remember him in the opening credits, the Scorpion. And the Rhino. The Rhino was in that original cartoon as well. That's how I knew most of the Spider-Man rogues gallery, as they call it. I didn't know this guy. Oh, Isn't he that guy? We saw his silhouette earlier. Backlash. The main event. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man versus the Rhino. Backlash. And the Scorpion. Okay. Wait, so that's 319. What did I do with 320? 320 was the one I showed. So yeah, this was the one that I got when I decided to start buying Spider-Man comics. And then I was so excited that they were going to be on sale twice a month, so I could continue reading and growing my collection. Here he was with Silver Sable. I really like purple. Purple's usually like, if you're wearing purple, you're a bad guy. You gotta keep your eye on that paladin. And Silver Sable as well. I mean, she's wearing silver. White. Alright, 321. And 322. Yeah, this was the summer, twice a month, 6-parter. I remember not liking this story as much. Like, it kind of drags on, I guess. I'd rather have like 2-issue story arcs, perhaps. Sometimes they're just filling up the space. I like that. And then this one with Captain America. I didn't have any Captain America comics. Didn't really know much about him. Never watched the cartoon, anything like that. But I thought, look at that. That is a cool cover. Captain America looks... well, he looks patriotic. Like classic. Like, because even at this time, I hadn't seen Spider-Man since, like, cartoons. And you could tell this was the grown-up Spider-Man. It's not the red and blues. It's kind of like red and black with, like, blue highlights. Like, you wouldn't call Veronica's hair blue. Veronica Lodge. So just, you know, how the light goes off the muscles of Peter Parker's rippled, muscular body. Those parts, the highlights, those are blue. But with what I'm getting at is, like Captain America there, it's just the red, white, and blue. And they weren't pulling any punches. They took the kid gloves off, as it were. But yeah, I wished, you know, superhero movies, it's like you're already superheroes. Like, lean into it. And make the costumes look like the comics. Ow! How about that? I can see that. I think it's getting dark in here. Are you getting tired? We're almost done. So McFarlane did a lot of amazing Spider-Man comics. I thought that was a good cover. This is where I first learned, don't judge what's going to happen in a comic by the cover. Because Spider-Man doesn't even see Sabretooth in this one. I think they're like completely different places. Is Sabretooth even in this? It's hard to say without looking at it. So that's issue 324. Oh, look look at this one. It's the Red Skull in Pot 6 of 6 of the Assassination Plot. It's the final chapter. The White House is burning. The Red Skull. Smoking one of Todd McFarlane's. Oh, okay. That's one of those, like, extenders, like Hunter S. Thompson. I don't know what you'd call those things. I thought that was like one of Todd McFarlane's long, skinny cigarettes. There was the final chapter. Issue 325. So that was the final chapter at the end of the summer. I thought, right on. I'm kind of getting tired of this Assassination Plot. And then the next comic that came out was this one. That's not Todd McFarlane. And what is that? Like baby Spider-Man? His eyes are all wrong. What? He's crouching. And then the inside art was even more disappointing. And I thought, no. And then I thought, well, so then the next month, then this one came out. And it even said guest artist. And then the regular new artist started with this. And it's Eric Larson. And I thought, okay, at least it's not this guy or lady. And I thought, okay, I can get behind this. And I even knew my friend there at that comic convention. He got, like, so Todd McFarlane was the Incredible Hulk artist. And then when he left the Incredible Hulk, I believe Eric Larson just did the guest pencils maybe for one issue. So I already knew him. And I think I knew him, he did like Punisher or something. I think maybe I had seen some of that, or at least heard about it. So I liked that. I thought, okay. Like a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. He's a good artist. And then I'm waiting for the next issue. Hey, where'd issue 326 go? So, that's this one. So then the next month, then this one comes out. And I just look at the cover. It's all busting up there. This non-mutant, you don't even see what he is, non-mutant something. The Marvel box thing. Who's the strongest one there is? And I just thought, he's back. He's come back to Spider-Man. But it was the one-time thing. He just came back, I guess, because the Hulk was there. But it gave me hope. I thought, oh, because we didn't know. Nobody knew what artist Todd McFarlane was going to do next. And I didn't collect that many comics. And I loved Spider-Man comics. People were speculating when I first bought that first one I got with this Paladin. Wait, this one. I think it was the guy who worked at the comic store, maybe just somebody in the comic store. And like, I barely knew what I was talking about or listening to. The guy said, oh, I think it was before I was just buying this. And he said, oh yeah, I heard McFarlane's leaving. Spider-Man, he's leaving Marvel. Like, wouldn't it be awesome if he went over to DC and did Batman? And in my head, I thought, oh yeah, McFarlane, this guy here. I didn't understand. I thought, this superhero is leaving Marvel? He's gonna go, he wants him to go over to fight Batman. So, that was the last one. And then Eric Larson took over and he did an amazing run. Maybe even, well, I don't know. Maybe even better than Todd McFarlane. But then Todd McFarlane got his own Spider-Man comic, which he did for a time. Then he left it, and then Eric Larson came and did like one issue, or maybe a couple. Oh no, he did like a whole, he did a few. He did like more than 6. So, what a great look back at these amazing comics, the Amazing Spider-Man. It was a real fun time to buy these as they were coming out. So yeah, Eric Larson had a good run. And then when Mark Bagley was the next ongoing Amazing Spider-Man artist. And he really made his name on the Amazing Spider-Man and at Marvel, because it was just shortly after that time when Mark Bagley took over that all these hotshot artists, Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, Jim Lee, and the like, they all jumped ship. They thought, we're gonna go find some greener pastures. And they did, I guess. Alright, thanks again for hanging out with me and